Hello there, Internet, and welcome back to Geeky Ent. Now, we have finally, thank you, Sony. They have revealed some details, but not all details, of the new and upcoming PlayStation 5. Now, this console has been rumored to come out holiday 2020 for, I think, since the last year or so, but Sony, as of 3 days ago, officially announced the PlayStation 5. Not only did they announce the PlayStation 5, they also announced the peripherals for the device, the
Drop some
specs,
killer games.
the specs for the device, the games for the device. So this new console looks pretty cool. So for me, I'm more of a PC guy, and I also have a Nintendo Switch and a Sony PlayStation 4, Wii U, and all that stuff. I'm not a Microsoft Xbox person, but pretty uh, I was pretty like floored of what they actually showed because uh, the first thing that they showed was something that I was not expecting for them to show so early. Now, what I'm talking about is Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man was a huge hit from Insomniac Games for PlayStation 4. Spider-Man 2 has finally been announced. It is gonna whatchamacallit, it is going to focus more on Miles Morales. Now, for those that have no idea who Miles Morales is, he is Brian Michael Bendis' version of Spider-Man. He's got a lot more techno gadgets. He's got a stealth suit. He can do a lot more different things than Peter Parker. So
At
that
this
was
point, I feel like we should all know who Miles Morales is, especially with Into the Spider Verse. I mean, come on.
I hope everybody knows who they are, but some people do live under rocks and all that stuff. So it is kind of we do have to portray that to the masses here on Geeky Ent.
True.
So that was the very first game they showed, and I remember you were texting me, Mary, and I wasn't even responding because I was watching it and I just couldn't respond and just take my eyes off the screen. So what were your initial reactions when because they didn't show the PlayStation 5 until the very end, but they
They
did,
didn't, but
they,
they dropped all those games.
they showed all the software titles that are presumed to be most of them are launch titles.
hmm
Some of them will be uh, on the PlayStation 4 as well, but it'll also be exclusive to the PlayStation 5. But Spider-Man, for me, that was I think like the second or third game behind the Telltale games where I actually platinum that game on the PlayStation 4, except for the DLC of downloadable content that I actually haven't gone back to. But what were your thoughts on this whole event that they showed and released everything and
The event itself was pretty good. It got me super hyped. I mean, there are some games I'm like, yeah, we'll see. But for the most part, I mean, you dropped your GTA footage. They
yeah,
dropped our Spider-Man footage, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But yeah, I was sitting on my couch, fangirling it out. Thankfully, I was home alone, so I didn't have to worry about the embarrassment.
Spider-Man for me I was not expecting them to announce that this early.
I wasn't either,
And
especially since the other one is still doing so well.
it is rumored to be a launch title. Now the only so let's talk about the good. So we've already talked about all the good about this press conference, and let's just talk about the bad. I think what people really wanted to know were two different things. When
We
can we
want to
get
know the
it?
launch date and how much it's going to be.
Exactly. The launch date, when can we get it, and how much is this sucker gonna cost? So we'll just jump ahead. They didn't announce any of those two things. They just showed here's what's coming to PS5. Here's what's somewhat in development. There were a couple games that like I had no idea what they were showing, but I wanted to play it. Uh, and I know that it was the one specific game was called The Little Devil in Me, or The Little Devil, yeah, The Little Devil in Me, because The Devil in I is a Slipknot song. So this game, I didn't know what was going on. They showed an old man on a toilet. They showed a guy just walking around, but it had this Tim Burton style vibe to it, and I'm just like, I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening, but I want to play it. So I got that vibe from that game, The Devil in Me. Another game that looked really interesting was Kera, Kera, and I don't know what it was
Yeah.
about. and I just
But it
was
looked
like,
interesting.
it looked really interesting. I can tell you this, that Sony did sell me on the PlayStation 5. That is uh, something that you know, because whenever you get new
At this
cons,
point, the biggest question is, are you buying the complete digital version or are you buying the version with the disc?
right?
That's the
So
biggest debate.
they did show the final two models, so we're going to be getting a digital only model and then one with a compact disc, Blu-ray disc model. Now there are rumors out there that the digital only model will be $399 and then the disc model will be $499. However, they have to show more because when the biggest thing for a console to sell, it has to have software. That's why the Nintendo Switch is thriving so much right now, is because it has third-party support. They have game titles and these game studios that have never been on Nintendo before. You'll never see games like Fortnite be on the Wii U. Uh, Apex Legends just announced that they are coming to a Nintendo Switch. Uh, a bunch of titles, like even crud, there was one Bayonetta is like one of their rated M type games, but they had one that was like they should have never gotten, but they did because Nintendo kind of catered towards the kids, the children. I can speak, Danny. The children,
Child.
uh, but now they're kind of like opening up more. They allowed uh, their main characters like Mario and Luigi to be on mobile devices, which Nintendo
Yeah.
always kept a tight lock and key on. So Nintendo finally opened up with their Nintendo Switch release and said, you know what, hey, we got all this third-party support. But that's for another time now. So the whole point of that was you have to have software for the consoles to sell. So you could have this amazing box, and the PlayStation 5 does look amazing. It looks like it's something straight out of Star Wars. When I first
Exactly.
looked at it, it's got the white plastic cover, it's got the blue lights, it's got the black trim. It sold me just on what they showed alone. Um, but you have to have the titles for it. They are going full on the VR. That's one thing I did catch on to. So they are going to continue with that. So I guess it's selling enough to where they continue on. You mentioned Grand Theft Auto, GTA 5 is getting a remaster. Demon's Souls is getting a remaster. So that looks pretty cool. Uh,
For all you racing fans, Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo, that's one game I played once and never again because it was too real. What
I
else?
never liked that game when I was
What
a
else
kid.
did they show? Because it was just a whirlwind. Because I
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil 8, that was one title. So yeah, we're getting Resident Evil 8 Village, and Resident Evil 7 scared the crap out of me. So
Another one.
this one looks
We're
like it's
getting
gonna be
another Hitman.
another Hitman. That's another one that they announced. Yep. What else did they announce? I forget. Because I'm confusing
Ratchet and Clank.
their original Ratchet and Clank. You have to have Ratchet and Clank. I was hoping for Jack and Daxter, specifically, because EA Play also announced their uh, E3 type press conference, so that came out a day or two after Sony had their conference. So I'm kind of like, both of them are blurring together. Because I
Yeah.
remember, the finale for the Sony conference was the reveal of the PlayStation 5, but the end reveal for the EA Play was Skate is being reintroduced and
Oh
rebranded
wow.
to HD. So who would have thunk in 2020? Sorry, who would have thought in 2020? I can speak today. Today's been a wild day. Uh, who would have thought in 2020 we're getting Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Skate re-released
Right.
for high definition? Like that just takes me back to 2000, 2005 era. Uh, what else? I know Resident Evil 8 was a big one for me because that one just floored me. But I know uh, they really shined really on to the Grand Theft Auto in my opinion. Like they showed a lot more. A lot of current players get certain types of currency in the game. It's been so
Yeah,
long
I
since I
believe it's
played
a
it.
million a day. If you're currently playing right now on the PS4 up until the PS5 launch, and it'll roll over, from my understanding.
Right, right. So Mary, did you see the EA Play conference at all, or
Unfortunately, I did not.
no? Okay, so they basically showed some new stuff. The only thing that I was really um, hooked on was EA finally announced their next Star Wars project, and it is Star Wars Squadron,
Oh,
where
nice.
basically they just took the aerial battle system from Battlefront and just made a full-fledged uh, game into that. So they got uh, the bombers. I forget what they got, but they got A-wings, TIE interceptors, Y-wings, bombers, TIE bombers, your X-wing versus the TIE fighter, and it's just a whole full-fledged brand new campaign. You can customize your cockpit with a little Funko type Ewok. It's pretty funny to see that. Um, but yeah, it's been a good week for the video game industry. Now we're just waiting on Nintendo and Microsoft to announce anything. More specific,
Anything far as simmers out there?
Sims. The Sims did announce that they are making the new title. Uh, I never really played The Sims or anything like that, but I know it.
Really?
Yeah, no, I
Oh, that was a
didn't.
childhood staple.
I know it was really popular, but that was just one title I never got into. Um, just never really did. So,
You should
but
try it now.
it,
You
it,
play
wa-
Animal Crossing, you'll love Sims.
it was nice to see that. Yeah, Animal Crossing. I still think Tom Nook is the biggest thief in the world right now. So that's just something that we'll discuss for a later time. But uh, yeah, I mean, Microsoft did show what the One X looks like, but Nintendo doesn't really do, the big event types reveals. They do the Nintendo Directs, where they just go ahead and every few months show what's
Nintendo
going
knows
on
that
new.
people are just gonna buy it regardless.
Yeah,
So they're not like super flashy like how it is with Xbox and PlayStation.
right. Yeah, for Nintendo, there was the DLC for Pokemon Shield and Sword came out.
Oh,
I haven't, and then so they got the new expansion came out, Isle of Armor or Isle of the other one. There's two different islands we can get to go to, but
looks like I'm playing some Pokemon tonight.
I'm still trying to get through my campaign of Pokemon Sword. I ran through Pokemon Shield, so I'm caught up with that, so I can go ahead and do all that stuff. But then Animal Crossing came out, and that's where my life has been. Then I also
Interesting enough, I haven't touched Animal Crossing in the past couple of weeks because I've been so bombarded with class, but
true,
I didn't miss
true.
my turnips.
Oh yeah, I
Every
got
time I
it.
think about it, it upsets me.
Yep, that. Yeah, I haven't bought turnips in
I was
almost
like,
two
my
three weeks.
money.
2 3 weeks. I am about 700,000 short of paying off my final home loan. So I'm just,
I told you I'd help you out.
yeah, but I'm just
You
so
know,
close. I don't really
a
want to,
little bit of change
you know,
for,
to do the whole steroid thing. I don't want to do that because we've already
nothing.
discussed the different tricks of the trade in Animal Crossing. There's time travel, there's steroids, there's a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, for PlayStation 5, it's looking like a November release because that kind of falls in line with their previous PlayStation 4, PS3 release launches. Uh, any final thoughts on the PS5 or EA Play Animal Crossing, Mary?
Um, Final thoughts would really just be Sony hurry up and release the date and the price so I can get my money together and buy it. But
The question,
other than that,
the question everybody's
if
gonna
you
have
haven't
is,
checked it out, check it out.
are they gonna want the disc only model, or I'm sorry, the digital only model or the disc model?
I'm
Because
this model.
the kicker is the PlayStation 5 is completely backwards compatible, which means it can play your PlayStation 4 discs.
Exactly.
So, and for me, I can't sell my PlayStation 4 because I have an exclusive Battlefront 1 Darth Vader type console, so I can't really
Yeah, I still
sell
have
my.
my original, so
I can't flip mine for a PS5, but no, I am looking forward to it. For me personally, I want to get the disc model just because
and
you
I
don't want to
rely
have.
on it for a Blu-ray player.
Right, that's my Blu-ray
Saves money.
player. Mine is not the PlayStation 4 Pro, that's the 4K. That's one thing here, before we wrap this up. That's one thing that they didn't mention in all these videos, and this is something that a tech person like myself would understand. In order to play your PlayStation 5 at its full potential, you have to have the setup for it. So it's kind of like having a gaming PC. You got to have the monitors, you got to have the peripherals. The
Exactly.
Sony never mentioned that, they just figured it comes hand in hand. If you want to play your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox One or the Xbox X, whatever they're calling it, I'm not biased. Uh, you have to have a 4K resolution TV or whatever the 8K, the
Or
newest
you're
one
not going
is.
to get the quality.
Exactly. You're going to actually need to purchase that additional peripheral in order to get the full potential. Also, sound is pretty critical. If you got surround sound, I heard they're implementing more surround sound into their stuff. Um, so there, and I can hear BF calling, love Microsoft and stuff, but we'll convert him later on. We'll convert him in these.
Yeah.
So it is
He
what it
can
is.
like design of the PlayStation, even though he doesn't want to admit
See, that's the whole thing. Like, I'm not an X,
it.
I'm not an Xbox guy because I can play all big Xbox titles through my computer. Like, that's how it is. Um, Last thing here. If you guys like this video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you guys want to see anything else from our channel, also go ahead and drop a comment down below. Until then, my friends, this is Geeky Ent. My name's Danny,
My name's Mary.
and we will see you guys later. Have fun. Bye bye.